Alright guys, so this is Vijay and I'm back here with my new video how you can set up Ubuntu VPS for multi-site with the configuration of Apache and the DNS server configuration as well. So we actually got a VPS, Ubuntu VPS unmanaged, which is for a command based basically. So our today's agenda is how we can create a name server from a domain registrar website and to create a DNS server to install a lamp, and these are the prerequisites which we need. Domain name, first of all, the basic one, and the Ubuntu VPS server. For Windows based user, you can use Putty and WinSCP software to connect with your VPS. My lab setup is having a VPS, one VPS 64-bit Ubuntu 14.04, and I have this VPS IP you can see here, and the domain name which I registered is from crazy domain, that is mevijay.in, and I'll set up two name server address ns1 ns2. This is the VPS setup, how we can go. So, and this is the DNS server. So let me uh, start with first to VPS setup. This is the Putty software through which I can access my console. The command will be apt-get install apache 2. This command will let you install the Apache web server. You can simply apt-get update just before to this command, so that at least um, the queries can be accessible. Now this is the IP you can see here, and MX toolbox, because Apache I have installed, so you can see Apache default page. That means my Apache has get installed very well. And now I'll install the MySQL server. MySQL server installation will simply ask a root password to be set up, but because I have already installed MySQL server in my VPS and I uninstalled, so then I'm just reinstalling, and this is not a fresh VPS, so the dialog has not asked for password, root password. As you can see here, mysql -u root p, this command will let you access your MySQL console, MySQL command, SQL query. So because I already set the password, so I just applied the default one. This is the MySQL query command prompt. So databases will result you out all the existing databases, and the quit command will simply let you out to this SQL window. Now I'll install the PHP packages. So what are the PHP packages I need? The two steps I have already covered, so I just copied all the PHP packages. So basically PHP 5 and MySQL support and curl support, GD support, mqt support, these are the modules, PHP modules, which I am just gonna to install. You can have more than the my modules. So var www.html is the default uh, directory. I'm just going to test PHP whether it is installed correctly or not. So the first .php have, you can see, yeah. So the page is telling you that PHP has been installed properly, and the default configurations are displayed on the screen in your browser, you can see. Now I'm going to um, tell you the default Apache site. This is the default Apache site configuration file. So I'll uncomment the server name. The server name is basically for virtual hosting with a single IP address. Server name plays a very much great role. So I am just giving server name mevijay.in which is the default one. You can use server alias. Now let me tell you that server alias is actually nothing but the www prefix with your domain name. You can change your server admin mail ID from here. In my case, I am writing down my one, which is sarmavijay86.gmail, and this document root var www.html is the default document directory where I'll place all my HTML documents. Now, why I'm writing down this directory var www.html and allow override? Because this directory actually let you facilitate to enable your rewrite Apache module, which is very much essential component for if you are going to host WP, WordPress and Drupal sites. URL is necessary. So after change in configuration, I'll reload Apache. That's okay. So all the configuration changes has been takes place now. All right. So this is the module enabling command. You A2, that is Apache 2 enable mode module rewrite. So I'm gonna enable module rewrite. The required configuration directory has already been made in default d0 default.conf file. Now the lamp stack has been established, and I'm just gonna set up my DNS server. So first of all, the package for setting up a DNS server is the bind 9. Bind 9 I'll install with apt-get command, and simply will create a new directory etc bind zone, which will consist all my zone configuration files. For example, so simply this I can cp the default one. Some default configuration files are there which you can use, so you do not need to create a fresh file. So these are the steps now, and this is simple zone configuration file snapshot which you are seeing in front of your screen. All right, so moving on. Apt-get install bind 9. Bind 9 is the DNS configuration DNS package. Now let me change my current directory to etc bind. This directory holds all the configuration, default configuration. I'm just creating a zone directory, but it has already been existed over there. Actually I made this is, as I told you, this is not a fresh VPS. So for fresh VPS you will not have such configurations. You need to, so I just removed the zone one, and yeah, the zone definition configuration file, which is name.conf.default.zone, is okay. Now I am telling you, you should create a zone directory where you can place all your zone configuration. So the default zone is db.local. I'm just going to copy this db.local into me.vj.in so that I can use some existing configurations. Yes, these are the existing configuration, and I can modify my zone configuration file according to my domain, which is me.vj.in. Simply replace the localhost with your domain name, and one more thing, because I am setting up this my server as a name server, DNS server as well, so I have registered my VPS IP to my domain registrar as ns1 and ns2. So that is why I am placing ns1.mevj.in in SOA record, and you can simply see here ns record, both ns record I placed here, and this @ symbol means the zone, that is mevj.in. So I'm just going to um, create point the A record to this IP address. You can simply use this DNS to point out another server or something else. And the most important thing is that ns1 and ns2, in case of your any zone configuration file, ns1 and ns2 IP address or A record should also be mentioned, otherwise DNS will not work properly. One www name record I'm creating here, so that server alias, if you remember in my Apache configuration, will work very smoothly, otherwise your DNS will not recognize the www. Fine. Now zone configuration file has been okay. Now I need to define the zone here. So remove all the lines and simply replace localhost with your domain. In my case this is the mine, and the file, the zone configuration file path, you can see here. Now I can restart the service. Yeah, fine. Netstat command nl4 will result out open all open ports and services running. So 53 you can see for DNS server, and 3306 is for MySQL server. The services are up, that is why the port is open. Now I'll check my DNS server whether it is okay or not. So ns lookup, I'm looking up mevj.in. Oh sorry, ns lookup command is not there actually, so I'll install this ns lookup utility, apt get install DNS util, get installed. Yeah, ns lookup mevj.in with, I'm resolving this mevj.in with localhost. So you can see here, by using my local DNS server, it is resolving with the IP address which I have given and mentioned in my zone configuration file. You can see here the steps are there in my slide. This slide you can see, I will install now PhpMyAdmin, apt get installed PhpMyAdmin. PhpMyAdmin is a very great GUI tool to administrate your MySQL. I'll use this PhpMyAdmin to Apache with Apache 2. The beauty of Ubuntu server is its dialog box. This step is optional, you can ignore these steps. This one to giving the password. Fine. Web server has already been reloaded and the configuration should take place now. Now I can use IP address / phpMyAdmin because it has been installed, and yes, phpMyAdmin is working okay. Get login, root, that's done. The same databases you have seen in my MySQL command line. Alright guys, so it's time to configure php.ini. This file plays great role, and I'm just increasing the upload maximum file size. These are some tools, some configuration which you need to alter in your file. So one thing is max file size limit, another is post max size. Make sure that both should be same almost. otherwise PHP will not allow you to upload size exceeded with it. This is the max execution time a PHP query get executed in this permissible time. You can expose PHP to put on, and according to your VPS you can set the PHP memory limit. In my case I have 4 GB of VPS, so I am just giving 256 MB. Simply save this php.ini and yeah, so I have 2 GB VPS, 2 GB RAM VPS, and you can see because I have free enough RAM to provide 256 MB. Now the steps is to host a virtual hosting. The main step how you can host now another website. The one existing one is mevj.in, and other website you can host over here. I'm telling you the configurations are needed. Those are the configurations. So let me tell you my DNS is working okay or not. So DNS MX toolbox will tell you everything. This is a great tool to diagnose DNS related issues. dnsmevj.com. Yeah, you can see here ns1 and ns2 is my DNS server which it is using, and both are pointing on the same IP 103 last. Now a record to ns1 has, yeah, the IP address you can see, and what is the IP address of mail.mevj.in? Yes, this is telling that mail.mevj.in is not existing because I have not made the mail a record in my zone configuration. So I am going to create mail record. You can see here a record need to be mentioned over here because of if I need to point out the mail.mevj.in domain. Mail simply in the same VPS server need to reload, bind 9 or restart, and now I can see a record for mail mevj. This should reflect the same VPS server IP address. Yes, and this is working. That means your DNS server is properly propagated and configured properly. All right, for rest of the things to host multiple websites on this single VPS IP, first of all this HTML directory is for mevj.in. I have already used this one, so I need to create new directory, and that directory would be mkdir my domain. All right, cd I'll change it, the simplest things I'm doing is simply copy your default.conf file with the new one. Same configuration will be over there. Change the domain name because you don't need to worry about anything else. All right, simply I am changing from mevj.in to mydomain.com, www.mydomain.com. Rest of the thing is need to be changed is document root because HTML was the used for mevj, and I have created a new directory my domain which I'm going to use with mydomain.com. Now I'll enable this site. A2EN site will enable this mydomain.conf website. Yes, it has been got enabled, and now we'll reload Apache configuration, and the Apache site configuration has been done. You can see Site enable directory holds all the enable website configuration, and site available holds all the available configuration files. A to en actually command, A to en site command actually hold enable a link in site enabled directory. Alright, so now Apache site configuration has been done. Need to make changes in domain DNS service. Simply copy this zone, paste, and change only your domain, this me visa dot in, from me visa dot in to my domain I'm changing, and the zone configuration file, a new zone configuration file I'll mention here, mydomain.conf. Alright, this has been done. Simply copy in the same way as I configured in Apache. Simply copy mevisa.in to mydomain.com and change the configurations. Please be careful that NS record, because I'm gonna use with the ns1.mevisa.in same name server entry I'll make in my new domain, so it doesn't require to change. Only www, the CNAME record need to be changed. Alright, now restart bind9 service. Let me check with NS lookup utility. mydomain.com is resolving in which IP? Yes, you can see here the same IP address of my VPS server is on. That means DNS zone has been configured well and Apache is working. No issues. This is the steps of how you can configure multi website on a single IP VPS. It's good idea to host, um, as I told you, new virtual host configuration in Apache. These are the steps. You can find my this PowerPoint if slide on slide share. Alright, these are the configurations you can see. Fine, so the last step was this. Thank you very much for this one. Now the configuration part is because done. Let me tell you some more steps on this. So I'm going to install WordPress. Wget is the utility to download the WordPress latest.zip file. Latest.zip holds latest WordPress. I'll unzip. Unzip utility is not installed. Let me install it. Alright, so WordPress. Now I'll remove HTML and simply rename WordPress to HTML. Yes, latest.zip I don't require anymore. So you can see, and this one is the more important part. I'll take ownership of www HTML directory to www data. Www data is the user of Apache, so this is required very essential steps. I need to create a new database to install in order to install WordPress. This is the best practice which I am doing over here in PHpMyAdmin. Simply create a user, add username and the passwords setup, and you can see below a database. So simply tick on this. This will create the same name of database. Go, and you can see here WordPress is the database name and WordPress is the user, and the password I have already supplied. the simple and smart way. Now you can see window of Apache WordPress installation. That means everything is going okay, quite well. Database name is WordPress, username is WordPress, and the password I have given is WordPress123. Simply submit, and yeah, works perfectly. Give the all other information which required for WordPress installation. I guess you guys are more familiar than me because I'm not a WordPress person. Simply installation I can do. Done. So all these steps has been shown everyone. Yes, you can see here WordPress installation has been done and everything is okay. Thank you for watching this video, and I'll wait for your comments.